All right. Kind of an impromptu live stream here. Didn't expect to do this, but why not? Screw it. I'm going to get to two things today. And one of those things you could tell by the jersey in the background, Yankees. Going to be talking spring training, news roundup, discussion, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's been a while since I've talked Yankees, about 6-7 weeks. I think there's a reasoning behind that. It's not that I'm trying to not cover them, discuss them. I'm not excited. I am not excited about this Yankee season. They may have a cakewalk to the World Series. I am not excited and hopeful about anything regarding the Yankees. So we're going to discuss it because the season is back. They're at spring training, yada, yada, whatever. But another thing I wanted to talk about is you could tell by the title, and every one of their mothers has put out, an opinion about this, is the NBA All-Star Game and the All-Star Weekend and how to fix it, whatever. I'm just going to offer my 2 cents on that because I think that this is such a better medium for discussing something like that than just posting some stupid tweet that's going to get 200 views. I don't get any engagement on those anyway. But All-Star Weekend. Start with that and then get to the Yankees, about 10 minutes, whatever. I just want to offer my thoughts and opinions on this. It sucked. The entire weekend was disastrous, as you can tell by the title. Disastrous. And you could point at a multitude of things being the driving point behind it. First off, I wanted to discuss the Wemby CP3 controversy. I thought it was hilarious. Listen, when the second they went out and did that, I mean, I was hysterically laughing. There are people out there who are saying, "Oh, that's the reason why no one watches the." Who cares? It was funny. It was hilarious that they did that. Wemby being the young guy, very obviously influenced by CP3. That was such a CP3 idea. It was hilarious. I had no issue with that. They were disqualified anyway. They didn't win. There was no controversy. They did it. It was funny. Whatever. There are people out there saying that's the reason why they're not watching the NBA. They're cheating the rules. Come on. Really? And of all the things in All-Star Weekend that were reprehensible in terms of trying to get you to watch the product, that's what you're going to die on? That hill is the one that you're going to die on? I can't understand that. It was hilarious. Come on. Have a sense of humor. The three-point contest, I think it's the highlight of All-Star Weekend now. Like, that is the one event where you get the best players and they actually try. All right, you get the skills challenges, whatever. It's no one's actually trying. It's not very enjoyable. Of course, the NBA, if there's one area you want to criticize the NBA in, it's the fact that they had a great format for the skills challenge back in 2016, 2017, where you got two guys competing against each other at the exact same time, trying to get the better score. I believe Karl-Anthony Towns won that one. But back in the day, that was exciting. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, maybe you were concerned about NBA players getting hurt because they're trying their hardest, trying to beat the other guy. When it's one-on-one, and not a time thing, you get, I'm trying to find a way to put this, just like harder competition. Guys have egos. That's the reason why if the other guy's going hard, they don't want to get washed by him, so they try hard. So I don't understand why they switched it. The skills challenge sucked. But yeah, the three-point contest has now become the highlight of everyone's weekend because you actually have big names doing it. It would be the dunk contest. Dunk contest has historically been what has drawn people to specifically All-Star Saturday night, but All-Star Weekend as a whole, the excitement behind that, the memorable cultural moments in the dunk contest, starting with Dr. J from the free throw line, then going to MJ versus Dominique, then Vince Carter in 2000. Like, there's none of that anymore. Mac McClung put on an unbelievable show. Stephon Castle, also some really nice dunks. It sucks to say, Mac McClung is a G League player. If an NBA superstar did those dunks, you have an amazing product. And honestly, like, Mac McClung has kind of saved the dunk contest. Like, there were a few years back, like Jericho Sims was putting up stinkers of dunks. Like you had guys out there who were still no names and also couldn't dunk. Like, at least now you got some guys who can actually dunk. Mac McClung, but he's a G leaguer. He can jump over cars, but he can't jump the 12th man on a team. Like, that's what we're looking at right now. So again, it's like, all right, well, nice dunk, but who the hell are you? People know him as a slam dunk champion. Like, at least Nate Robinson was on a team. He played meaningful minutes for those Knicks teams. Yeah, he may not have been a household name, a superstar, but he was entertaining because he was a name. People know Nate Robinson. They know him mostly from the slam dunk contest, but people cared about what he did in the slam dunk contest because he was an NBA player. Mac McClung is not an NBA player. If you're just joining now, I'm talking about how bad the slam dunk contest is because there's no meaningful name. Stephon Castle might be a superstar in the league. He might be a star. I'm not going to say superstar. He might be a star in the league. It was good that he was in the dunk contest. And he put on a show. Mac McClung sucks. He sucks. He's a good dunker. He's entertaining. He deserved the win. That's all. That's all he'll be remembered for, the dunk contest. All right? He's not playing any meaningful minutes on any NBA team. The 30 NBA teams. You know, the hundreds of NBA players in the league. They may not be as good of dunkers as him, but they're all better players. That's why people couldn't care less. So now on to the terrible product the NBA put out on Sunday. I got through about 30 minutes of it. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest. It's like everything people have had an issue with the NBA this season, they put into one product that has already had an unbelievable amount of criticism. That's what we saw All-Star Sunday night, the All-Star game. You know, the NBA came out with this new format with the tournament, try to get people excited, try to get the players to actually play hard. And guess what? Not everyone took it seriously. Yet again. There was also hours of Kevin Hart. There was a late start time, which I think it's just like, don't say it's going to start at 8 if it starts at 8:35. It's like the issue that everyone has with every NBA game is I'm trying to watch a national game on ESPN. I know not to tune in until 8:45 if the game's at 8:30. No one wants that. People want prompt, it's like going on a date. You say you're going to be there at 8:30, be there at 8:30. No one wants someone who's late. And that's just compounding the issues of the NBA. Like, the product sucks, yes, but you're making it worse by not starting on time. So they start the All-Star game late. And like I saw a tweet that was put out there. I forgot who it was. Credit to them for actually crunching the numbers and doing this. It was like there was 3 hours of the All-Star game. The All-Star, the time slot of the All-Star game, right? 8 to 11. And there was like 45 total minutes of game time. 45 minutes of like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? And people are going to put blame on the NBA for this. And this was the TNT thing. The presentation of that was TNT. You know, it was like the whole, our last hurrah, we're done. We're going to make it all about ourselves and honestly give you a terrible product. Like, this felt like, and I saw another person tweet this, and props to whoever put it out there, I had to agree with it. Like, it was so bad to where you have to believe that this was TNT's way of shoving the middle finger in the face of the NBA and be like, you know what? Screw you. You screwed us. We tried to match the deal that Amazon offered, and you turned us down. This is what you get. A terrible product. That's what it felt like. That's how bad it was. It's not their fault that the NBA, put out this format, this tournament. That was the NBA. But here's the thing. I'm not going to place all of the blame on Adam Silver and all the executives with the NBA. The reason why they feel the need to go out and tweak the product and to tweak the format year by year is because the players don't play hard. They are trying to find ways to get the players to actually care about what is going on Sunday during All-Star weekend. And they can't. They can't find a correct format. And at what point does that not become the NBA's fault? And maybe it's just a player's issue. And maybe these guys couldn't care less about competing hard against each other during the All-Star game. This is a player's thing. And I know people out there don't want to put the blame on him. This is the LeBron James thing. Kobe tried hard in the All-Star games. Michael tried hard in the All-Star games. They passed the torch to LeBron. LeBron didn't run with it. And I don't want to sit here and criticize him. I mean, he pulled an unbelievable stunt the other day. 2 hours before the game announcing that he's not going to play in the game when he knows damn right that there were multiple guys itching to get into that game. If LeBron knew he wasn't going to play, why the hell are you announcing it 2 hours before and not 4 or 5 days before? What a joke. And how disrespectful to a guy like Norman Powell, a guy like Domantas Sabonis, two guys who have played extremely well this year and who were snubbed to get into the All-Star game. And those guys couldn't play because LeBron's ego. So there are a lot of things that I'm placing on LeBron's shoulders right now. I think he deserves more blame for that than the other thing, because, you know, it's on the NBA players for following one guy, but they do. LeBron is the elder statesman of the league. They do whatever he says. He's got as much power as anyone in the sport, not named Adam Silver. And he spat in the face of All-Star Weekend with what he did and what he pulled. Oh, I got a sore knee. Whatever the hell he said. Sore foot. Come on. You knew you had a sore foot 5 days ago. Or you just didn't want to play in the game. And it's not even about the guys who are not going to get into the game because you didn't get out of it on time. It's all the people who paid money to come watch the All-Stars, to come watch LeBron James. He could not care less about that. He really couldn't have. And it's pathetic. And not a good look for him. And not a good look for the league. That's my 2 cents on the All-Star game. And All-Star Weekend, another disaster. I think NBC has it next year. This is the last year of TNT, as you probably could tell from watching the broadcast. So we'll see what they could do with it. They have an opportunity to change the presentation, to make it more enjoyable to watch, presentation-wise. But they're not going to be able to convince the players to play harder. The NBA could do whatever it possibly can. I mean, you look at the NHL, what they did in the Four Nations face-off, which is extremely exciting. Hockey players are not basketball players. They don't have as big of egos, personally, individually. These NBA players are making $40, $50 million a year. And, I mean, listen, they try hard for their countries during the Olympics. That's just about it. You know, the FIBA World Cup, the best players don't play in it. They don't. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, you had Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart on that team. Not LeBron James, not Steph Curry. You have to up the stakes. And I don't know if a Team USA versus Team World thing is going to work. I think that may be the NBA's only hope. The only issue is that with that is like there's a chance that you may only have 7 or 8 international guys. I don't think that's, you know, that's likely, but it's a possibility. So then what the hell do you do? Because the Four Nations face-off is all players. We got Drew saying, I don't really care about the NBA to begin with, but I didn't know it was All-Star Weekend until maybe last Friday. Just terrible marketing. And that's another issue. That's another issue. And thanks for your comment, Drew. The NBA doesn't, I mean, listen, they do market their stars well. That's one thing I'll give Adam Silver. There's a reason why these guys are able to make 50, 60, some will start making $70, $80 million very soon. There's a reason why. So the NBA is able to market their guys better than any other league. Look at the followings of these guys. I mean, is there any player in sports who matches the following of LeBron? I know it's LeBron James. I get it. He transcends the sport. He's bigger than the sport almost. But is there any player in the NHL, MLB, the NFL who has more followers than like a Steph Curry, a Kevin Durant? No. Because these guys are huge. They are huge. So I guess maybe the NBA saw it and was like, you know what? We don't need to market these guys because, you know, they're already marketed to begin with. I don't know if it was that. But yeah, that's another issue. I don't think it's as big of an issue as it just not being an enjoyable product. I think it says a lot. And it's a disastrous thing for the NBA because they're dealing with all this discourse surrounding the league that no one wants to watch. The product sucks. And this just did not help whatsoever. If anything, it made it a lot worse. All right, enough with the All-Star game. Enough with All-Star weekend. Let's transition to some Yankees spring training news, leading with the comment from Aaron Judge about Juan Soto. Of course, you know, he had his first media availability. One of the first questions that was asked to him, do you agree with Juan Soto, or were you surprised by his decision to leave and by him saying that he had a better chance to win with the Mets than with the Yankees? He said he wasn't surprised. said it didn't agree with this decision and his opinion on the fact that the Mets have a better chance to win the World Series than the Mets, or the Yankees have a worse chance to win the World Series than the Mets. I just like, what do you expect from Aaron Judge? I don't think it's big news. People put it out there. Aaron Judge making comments publicly about Juan Soto for the first time, the guy that seemed all buddy with him last year and then who ended up leaving in free agency. Other than that, I don't like. Listen, there's nothing to really draw from this. Judge is well trained in terms of the media. What the hell do you expect him to say? I think it's telling, though, that he wasn't surprised, that maybe he knew. Maybe there was a semblance of knowledge in the head of Aaron Judge that, hey, listen, I'm going to try to do as much as I possibly can before the season ends to get him acclimated with the Yankees and the Yankee brand, the pinstripes. But there's no control over any of this. And turns out there wasn't, because he left. He wasn't enamored with the idea of the Yankee pinstripes. He wasn't, enticed by the aura of the Yankees, which is non-existent anymore. That's another story for another day. I talked about that plenty when Juan Soto signed 2 months and 8 days ago with the Mets. So that's just like that's not even a conversation anymore. But there's some other stuff, again, I said this at the start of this live stream. You're just joining now. I'm Bryce Gelman talking now Yankee spring training. If you missed the discussion on NBA All-Star Weekend, my thoughts, when this is over, you could scroll back. You might actually be able to do that right now, especially on YouTube if you're watching. But I don't get many people watching on YouTube for whatever reason. But there's other news, and again, I'm not too excited about this Yankee season for a multitude of reasons. The Yankees did spend money. They did trade for Cody Bellinger. They did sign Max Fried. They yada, yada, yada. They did trade for Devin Williams. The Yankees made moves. We wanted them to make moves. They made moves. Do they put them over the top? Do they make them even competitive with who the Dodgers have? No. Do they have as good of a roster? Pitching staff, hitters, lineup, anything than the Dodgers? No. There are teams in the NL who are better than the Yankees. Is there a team better than the Yankees in the AL? I don't know about that. Maybe the Red Sox now, if any one of these prospects comes up and actually starts contributing, yeah, the Red Sox could be just as good, if not better. They just signed Alex Bregman. He is going to do damage with the Green Monster in left field. That was the best possible situation for him. He got offered big money, 6 years, $170 million from the Tigers. He opted for less years, more money, deferred money from the Red Sox. I'd say it's somewhat of a surprising decision with how long he held out for. He wanted 6-7 years. He got 6-7 years, and he turned it down to go to the Red Sox. I think he knows that his production is going to dip. It would have dipped if he was playing at Comerica Park instead of Fenway Park. So, yeah, they signed Alex Bregman, and that's a big addition for them. And now the Yankees are, the division stacked. It is. The Blue Jays are trying to sign anyone every free agency, and no one wants to go to Toronto. I feel terrible for Blue Jays fans. Like, imagine being a fan of a team that's actually willing to spend, but no one wants to go there. Like, it's another thing to be a fan of a team that just, is not going to try to spend, because then you could just kind of give up on that team. And it sucks, of course. And, it's frustrating. And trust me, I was a fan of the Knicks for a disastrous 10 to 15 year period. And I know it's a different story. James Dolan was willing to spend. How much money did he give Phil Jackson? $10+ million a year to run the franchise into the ground? At least you spent the money. But to actually want to spend money and no one wanting to play for your franchise, you just know that anyone you draft and try to develop is going to want to leave. And you just saw the news. And I was going to get into this a little bit later, but I guess it's a good segue into the Vlad Guerrero news, that there are 3 teams that are now the favorites if the Blue Jays aren't able to re-sign him, which is looking increasingly more likely by the day. And those 3 teams, Red Sox, in order, I believe, this is what, the talking heads of the MLB reporting world had to say, in order, the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Yankees. I don't know if he's going to want to play for the Yankees. He's had some choice words for the Yankees over the years. Who knows if those still apply in his mind? I think he's enticed by the idea of big money. Pete Alonso might want to stay with the Mets, and that may create a logjam at first base. I think the best fit for him is the Red Sox. I totally see him going to the Red Sox. Like, I just think that would be a perfect fit for him. I know he stays in the division, but he joins a team that, he's stated he hates the Yankees and never play for them again, or never play for them at all. Excuse me. So what better team to go to than the Red Sox, who, after signing Alex Bregman, have finally shown a willingness to pay big players. I know they were in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. I don't know how real that was. I know they were one of the favorites, but they were nowhere close to the final number that the Mets gave them, nor were the Yankees, to be fair. John Henry finally spent the big bucks, brought Alex Bregman in, and that obviously elevates them to contenders and also gives players out there who are going to be free agents the idea that there's a chance that not only the Mets and the Yankees and maybe the Dodgers as well. I know there's no place for him to play and he's not going to go to the Dodgers. The Dodgers aren't going to pay him. But there's more than 3 teams in Major League Baseball who are willing to pay big money for me. So that's a big deal for Vlad. And I think he's going to be a Red Sox. That's my 2 cents. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, Giancarlo Stanton. It's never ending with this guy. It really isn't. He's got tennis elbow. Somehow, in both of his elbows. How the hell is that possible? How is that even possible? It's beyond me. How you get tennis elbow in both elbows? Hasn't swung a bat in weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, but I don't know exactly what it is. Doesn't know. Of course, he's not going to be ready for opening day. Of course not. Yeah, like you think even if he magically healed overnight, he'd be able to play it up. No, it would take him a month to 2 months to ramp back up. And the Yankees aren't going to say it. They're not going to come right out and say it, but you're looking at a June to July return date for Giancarlo Stanton. And I saw a stat with the team records of the Yankees with Stanton versus without him last year, and they are a lot better a team with Giancarlo Stanton in the lineup. And you're going to start the year without him. Amazing. Terrific. It's never ending with this guy. I mean, you can't say anything else about him. You can't knock him for this because he consistently performs in the postseason. Unlike Mr. 99, who doesn't. So you can't say anything about the situation. It sucks. He's an injury-prone player. It's very hard for him to stay healthy. What more do you want me to say? Now you're looking at Dom Smith being the DH for this team. I mean, and end it right now. I want to sit here and be excited about this season. I want to tell you that I think the Yankees have a chance to win the World Series. I simply don't. I don't. Did they do enough after losing Juan Soto? I don't know. I can't tell you definitively that they did because they still lack a third baseman. They are still considering playing DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera a significant amount of games in this upcoming season. Based off that fact alone, you cannot get me excited about this season. And if you want to tell me, well, the Yankees could always make a move at the deadline. When was the last time the Yankees made a deadline move that actually impacted winning? Like, are we going back 25 years? Are we going back to David Justice in the 90s? Like, I cannot remember a player that impacted the Yankees eventually winning. Jazz Chisholm was the Yankees' big addition during the trade deadline, at the trade deadline last year. What did he do in the postseason? I think he had 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. Did not come up big in any moment. The entire postseason. Played below average defense at third base. That was the Yankees guy last year. You go back 3 years, Anthony Rizzo, Joey Gallo. What did they do in 2021? Jack shit. 2022, Frankie Montas. What did he do? Jack shit. Got hurt after his first start. Speaking of Frankie Montas, the Mets now have the Frankie Montas experience. He's going to be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. He might miss the first 3 or 4 months of the season. That's the Frankie Montas experience for you. Sucks to suck, Mets fans. This is what you get when you sign former Yankees, expecting them to be better than they actually are. And we'll see what happens with Clay Holmes. It's certainly intrigued to see the type of player that he's going to be for the Mets as a starter. I know I talk a lot of Yankees, Giants, Knicks. Going to be talking some Mets more and more here as the weeks go on. But yeah, Yankees focus today. That's another piece of news. Another piece of news, DJ LeMahieu. took 2 months off in the offseason because he wants to be healthy throughout the 8 months of the season. Okay. Here are my thoughts on that. What? 2 months? You're taking off? How long is it going to take for you to ramp back up your hitting? You've been an awful hitter since the 2020 COVID season, in which he was unbelievable. What has he done since then? Nothing. And now he's not swinging a bat and practicing for 2 months? What the hell are we doing? And this is the guy who's going to play big games for the Yankees this year. He's going to play meaningful games for the Yankees in 2025. I want to shoot myself having to listen to Aaron Boone every year at this exact same time. DJ looks good. He's in good shape. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I guess him taking 2 months off is a different thing. I don't know. I just don't see how that could be beneficial to him. Staying healthy, yes. Okay. If he stays, like, is he a good hitter even when he's healthy? Are you telling me that every time he's been in the lineup over the last 4 years, he's been hurt? Isn't that a big indictment on the Yankees for playing a guy who's hurt? You saw what happened with Anthony Rizzo 2 years ago. He was never the same player. After they couldn't tell he was concussed after getting kneed in the head by Fernando Tatis Jr. So are we really throwing out injured guys? I don't know. I really do not know. But I'm trying to get myself hyped up for the season. But there's just more and more stuff. And, like, it's wishful thinking to assume that every single guy that is assumably healthy right now for the Yankees is going to stay healthy before opening day. We saw it last year with Garrett Cole, who was out until, June, July? I don't like the vibe surrounding this team. I don't. I don't like that the Yankees so desperately needed a big lefty power bat. And the guy they went out and got is Cody Bellinger. Now, if you brought back Juan Soto and you got Cody Bellinger, I think that changes everything. But are we really going to have to watch Cody Bellinger bat third or fourth in this freaking lineup? Are you really expecting me to get excited about that prospect? F no. No. It sucks. It's not good. Their lineup does not look good. The pitching is amazing. The rotation is stacked. You got Marcus Stroman, who signed kind of a big deal with the Yankees last offseason. There's kind of like a holdout, right? It doesn't look good. The Yankees are very obviously trying to trade him because there's no place in the rotation for him. And he doesn't want to be a reliever. And I can understand why. He's not a reliever. So I guess it's a good problem to have that the Yankees have an insane pitching staff. What good has that done them in the past? Yankees win when they've got clutch guys in the lineup from 1 to 9. You've got your best player who doesn't perform well in the postseason. You've got a bunch of other guys who were non-factors in last year's postseason. Do you trust any of these young guys to go out there and perform in the postseason? Hitting-wise, I don't know. There's nothing else that matters in this sport. It really does. You get to the postseason, and then your guys either perform or they don't. That simple. You know what to expect from your top of the rotation guys. Garrett shut in both games that he pitched in the World Series last year. Yankees lost both games. Like, pitching could only help you so much. It can only get you to a certain point. The rest is decided by how well your guys hit, how clutch your guys are. Right now, Yankees lineup as it stands does not have many clutch guys. Stan's the one guy. He's going to miss the first 2 or 3 months of the season. Mark my words. That'll be it for today. I wanted to get my, the thoughts off my chest or about the Yankees, the All-Star weekend. If you missed any part of it, scroll back after this is done. Knicks are back Thursday. Very excited for the second half of the season. It's the home stretch, baby. It's the home stretch. And let's see if the Knicks can put together a run, get them potentially into the second spot in the East. That would be amazing. Playing Boston with home court advantage. I doubt that's going to happen, but we'll see. See if the Knicks can actually start defending three-pointers. And one other big prospect And something that I'm excited about, I've been talking about for months, is Mitchell Robinson. He's going to be back soon. So a lot of stuff to be excited about with the Knicks. More live streams coming with that. More live streams with the Yankees, of course, as well. The draft is coming up for the Giants. More pain, more suffering, more false hope. That is incoming as well. Be sure to check out One Giant Step with myself and Sean Morash, wherever you get your podcast, and the WFN YouTube as well. That's some good content. That's where you want to consume your Giants content with Sean and I. So stay tuned for that. Weekly stuff is going to be coming out. So excited. Woohoo. But until next time, I will see you all. I want to say later this week. We'll talk Knicks later this week. So I'll see you all then. Have a good one, everyone.